ready. I'm holding the guap and I'm whipping the Yeti, yeah, Kari can play with advanced moves. I'm fucking my girl and her man too. I'm taking the ball like the ran do. My soul is the one that I can't lose. I soak up the sun like a sand dune. I'm holding up love with the bamboo. I'm rolling the blunt by the candle. Taking the game, running it back without taking a drink. Yeah, I'm the one and I'm making a wave. Rolling the blunt and I'm blazing a J. I'm escaping the brain, go straight for the cake. I'ma take to the bank, not taking a break. I'm made for the race, I pray for the day. I wake with a bake in the greatest state.
Back, everybody. I'm Jay. He's Maddie. This is Yankee and the Brit, and it is our first NFL Sunday. Maddie, are you there?
Yeah, I am. I feel like my Wi-Fi is cutting in and out. I'm in Beijing now, so you would think that the Wi-Fi would be fine, but it's a little spotty, a little up and down. But yeah, it is our first Sunday pre-game show, and we're heading in to this Sunday off the back of some really exciting and fun games, and actually two pretty surprising games, I thought, on Thursday and on Friday night, with the Cowboys going kind of close with the Eagles and the Cowboys looking a bit better than we thought they might. And also the Chargers look very good, and the Chiefs stumbling, and the Chargers beating the Chiefs. So already a great football week going into Sunday. That's always exciting.
And I know why your internet's rough. It's because China bought it off of Toomey.
Yeah. Maybe. But, Coca-Cola's made it here, so it's a modern country.
Is that really Coke? That looks like knockoff Coke.
Yeah.
And they put all those cans. They put all their shit in cans that look like Red Bull. It's the weird. Everything in China looks like an energy drink.
That's the same as in Europe. Like that is what a can of Coke is in Europe. That is a Coke.
Yeah, see, that's an energy drink. You see a can like that here, you're like, oh, it's a Celsius or a Red Bull.
Yeah. Also, Jay, we were chatting before we got on about my haircut, and also my teeth look whiter, and I think it's because of the haircut. I think the haircut makes me look like I've got turkey teeth.
Teeth.
I've got a modern person's haircut, and now it looks like I've got like turkey teeth going on.
If anybody gets bored, Google turkey teeth and let me know what comes up in the comment, or let me know in the comments what you get.
Google turkey teeth, or Google like Ibiza final boss. That's the meme that's going around now, and it's a guy from Newcastle with like the super version of this haircut and massive turkey teeth. Yeah, turkey hair, turkey teeth.
He's got the One Direction haircut.
I couldn't really accept. My Chinese is not at the level to kind of explain a haircut situation, so I just kind of showed a picture, and this is what I got, and it was semi close. It
looked intentional. You're the only one who thinks it's a problem because it looks intentional.
It just doesn't look like me. It's just every time I see myself in the mirror, it looks mad. I also got sunburned waiting to see Mao's mausoleum today, so I'm all over the shop.
Right, but don't British people get sunburned looking at a fucking lamp in their house?
Yeah. I mean, I did sleep with the light on last night, so it could just be that as well.
All right.
But Jay, to start off the show, we just need to, before we get into everything, we need to talk about our AFC over-unders to make sure we've got them in the books before this week's games is played. Obviously, there's been one AFC game, and it was the Chiefs. But we've been honest, and we've said what we would have given the Chiefs and the Chargers like before that win anyway. So that's all good. All right. So over-unders, Jay, for the Bills at 12.5, we have both gone for under. I was surprised that we both went for under because I felt I was a bit rogue going for under. But actually, I was just looking at their roster, and I just thought cornerback help isn't really there. Bose is not really going to come in until the playoffs, in my opinion. The wide receiver room is not incredible. Like, it doesn't necessarily need to be, but yeah.
Sorry, I just coughed.
Nice. Let's go. But yeah, we're at like a similar place with that, right? For the Ravens, we've both gone under. The Ravens are 11.5 wins for this AFC season, this NFL season, sorry. We have both gone over. Jay, why do you think the Ravens are going to go over?
Well, because I got them as my Super Bowl pick. I got them as I think they're going to be the number 1 seed. And I think this is probably the most ready team that all around that I've seen with the Ravens. I think they made great. And I can't believe I forgot it when we were talking about them before too. But like on everything we talked about, they added Jair Alexander too. Like he's one of the. And I know people are like, well, he gets hurt, yeah. But when he's healthy, he is, if not he's one of the best corners in the NFL. He's the only corner I've ever seen in one game that just stuck to Justin Jefferson, and you were like, holy fuck.
Yeah, and I mean with the Ravens as well, that defensive front, they've just got freaks on that D line. You know, like they can probably get to the Super Bowl. They can probably get like to the playoffs without Jair Alexander. Obviously, you want him to play a bit in the running, but he doesn't need to play every down. You can really nurse him towards those playoff games when you need to go lock up with number 1 wide receivers in the NFL. So I totally forgot that they got Jair Alexander when we were talking about it as well. But they have a star at almost every level. They've got Odafe Owe on the defensive line, who I think is a massive star. Patrick Queen at linebacker. And then they've also got Jair Alexander at cornerback. Like they're stacked on defense. And then we don't even need to talk about their offense because they're just stacked everywhere there.
If you think about it, they brought in Chuck Picano, who was a fucking NFL head coach with Andrew Luck. So he knows how to win, right? And this guy, it came in as a secondary advisor on their team. That's how stacked they are at coaches, too. They're bringing in and he was a Super Bowl winning defensive coordinator with the Ravens. You know what I'm saying? They're bringing in guys that, like, they're like, we're going all in, even on the coaching staff.
Yeah, as soon as you start to hear, like, coaches' names that you recognize that deep into a coaching staff, you're like, oh, okay. Like, these guys are stacked everywhere. And they're the most complete team in the AFC. And the AFC is a division that doesn't really compete on stacked teams. Like we've been speaking about this a lot. The AFC is more of a quarterback driven and the NFC is more of a team driven conference. So to be the most stacked team in the AFC, and they're possibly the most stacked team in the NFL. So I just think on every level,
those quarterbacks, with one of the top quarterbacks,
with a quarterback.
You're not just
exactly.
Team, so.
And it's not just any quarterback as well. It's like a difference maker quarterback. It's not just like if you add Joe Burrow into that, you're like, great, Joe Burrow. But Lamar Jackson is also just a total freak, like different guy to go for as well.
Sorry, I didn't mean that. It cut out on me, so I thought you were done.
No, that's okay.
If you think about it, the Ravens are what the Vikings are hoping they are. Because they have a stacked team, they're just hoping their quarterback is elite too. You know what I mean? So that's what the Vikings are hoping they are right now.
Yeah, exactly. What have we got next? Yeah, Jay, the Chiefs obviously going down to a loss a few days ago, but they're 11.5. Before that win, I had them as an over on the 11.5. Look, they're the Chiefs. Like they've got Patrick Mahomes. They Travis Kelce looks fitter in the gym. Like he looked fitter in preseason. Obviously they're without Rashee Rice. I really like Isaiah Pacheco, but he looked like he might have lost a bit of a step there. On the noise of Josh Simmons coming out, they sound like they found their left tackle. But you, Jay, have gone for under on the 11.5. So why do you think under for the Chiefs?
Because I had them at 11, and I'm going off of where I scored them before I saw the over-unders. I went through, knowing we were going to do this. I didn't look at the over-unders. I just went through and picked what I thought because I didn't want to be influenced. And that's why I came in and asked you before the show last time, should I pull up the over-unders or you know what I mean? That's why I went that route. And I figured I got them at 11. And it's so hard to go over. And then the Chiefs are one of those teams where they just chiefed last night. This is what they do. They drop a game or two where you're like, what the fuck? And then people start to talk and the Chiefs fell off. And the next thing you know, they're in the Super Bowl. This is exactly what happens 3 years in a row or something, you know?
Yeah. And it's the same. They have the same thing as the Eagles. Yeah, and they have the same thing as the Eagles, right? Where they just win games. They're not blowing teams out. And when you're doing that, it only takes the bounce of a ball to go wrong. Like if you're doing that, it's like I want my team to annihilate bad teams, because then that just takes that out of the equation, the bounce of the ball, right? But the bounce of the ball more often goes the Chiefs' way, and to a point where it's not luck. Like, it is like they do just win games.
I know this is like kind of just bullshit to say, but and we don't have to go through the whole game, but I really think that the Chiefs were literally a right tackle false start away from winning that game.
Yeah, like everybody's making out.
They were driving, and that was the worst false start at the worst fucking possible time by that. Yeah. And it's always, their tackles are always trying to get a jump. Those fucking Kansas City tackles are always trying to get a jump. But did we all not think that there was a great chance that they were going to drive down and score? That's the Chiefs, right? And I'm not worried about them losing one game or here or there, because, like you said, it's the Patriots way, too, of let's just get in the playoffs and then beat everybody's ass there.
Yeah, exactly. Like the Eagles have been doing the same thing. But we will talk about, we will talk about, like, the games from the other day, and we're going to pick every single game this week. So stay on tuned with us for that. Jay,
don't mind me, guys, live during the show, and I will let you know if you want to know. I'll be dropping some underdog bets on my app. I can't bet the games, but I can bet all the from my living room. In Wisconsin, you got to be in the casino. I can't bet the games from my living room, but I can bet all the, like, over, under, the will a running back get 60 yards, over, under that. I can do all that kind of shit. So I'll be doing that periodically through the game. Or through the
Jay, Broncos at 9.5 wins. We've both gone for the over on that one. Jay, we're going to chat in a bit about how the Broncos are possibly one of the most hyped teams in the NFL this season. 9.5 felt kind of low for me. I don't see this Broncos team losing. That's one of the ones that we were talking about last week, where it's, do you see them losing that many games? It's not the winning of the games. It's, do I see them losing 7 games? Do I see them losing 8 games, or however many it needs to be for that one? Jay, the Bengals at 9.5 as well. This has to just be about the defense, right? Like, it has to be about worries about the defense, which is a very fair worry, but we've both gone over on that one. Why do you think the Bengals are going to go over?
Or the fact that I think people are starting to come around to the fact that Joe Burrow's really good, but is he great?
That's, interesting take. I think Joe Burrow's amazing. I think he's possibly the bloody, like, he's a top 5 quarterback in the NFL, in my opinion, without sitting through and doing them right now.
Is he?
But yeah.
Is he with all these injuries? But we can get into that at a different time.
Injuries. Yeah. Injuries as well. Yeah, that's true. But yeah, I feel like they've been shortchanged at 9.5 here with the talent that they've got on that roster. So I just think that talent carries them to look. They had a terrible season last season, and they still, like, registered double-digit wins, I think. Am I dropping in and out again?
No, it's me right now, but I'm fixing it as you're talking.
Right. Okay. Got you. I'll just keep going then. Okay, cool. So the Texans are at 9.5 here. And to be honest, I was very surprised when I saw 9.5. I feel the AFC ones are lower. The AFC ones, there were some much higher NFC ones and then some much lower NFC ones. The AFC over-unders are kind of all averaging out as a bit lower. And I'm surprised that I was surprised that the Texans weren't a double digits. But then I thought about it myself and I was like, do you know what? Like, that makes sense. I feel like that line's about right at 9.5 here. I've gone for the under, Jay. You've gone for the over. I'm really worried about that Texans offensive line. And if anything, I think it's got worse over the offseason rather than get better.
Well, the only reason I went over is because when I went through their schedule, I had them at 10.
So it's see, and I'm at 9. Like 9.5 is a real fucker. Yeah.
They hit me that way a few times with these over the NFC and the AFC, where you're like, you're right there. So you said it a couple times last show. Yeah. Vegas is pretty on point.
They're pretty good with this one, and it's why they do the half as well. Like it's why they do the half, so you can't take a push, because some of these I'm like, Texans push at 9. Jay, the Patriots are at 8.5 here. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe I gave them the under, right?
You did give them the under, but I wrote on my sheet that I gave them the over, but I genuinely. Sorry, I did mine earlier today, and I'm trying to remember. Okay.
Well, anyway. It's not locked in. They haven't played. If you want to change it.
Yeah. I suppose that's the surprise right there. But Jay, to be honest, I'm going to keep it as the over, because every fucking time I change one while I'm on the show, it goes wrong. Like every pick I've ever made, if I've changed it on the show, it's gone wrong. So I'm going to keep it as the over. With the Patriots, I think this line's about right. Again, 8.5 feels pretty close to where they'll be. Drake May was great last year. Their wide receiver room has got better with Stephon Diggs in the room. Their offensive line has got better with rookie Will Campbell at left tackle as well. Their coaching staff has got better with Mike Vrabel there. So that's why I've gone for the over. Jay, how come you've gone for the under on that one?
Because I think they'll be better. I don't think they're going to be great. And we talked about it with the Patriots, that I think they're one of those teams that we're going to see improvement, but you're not going to see as much improvement on win-loss, right? We're going to see movement. But they're still in a rebuild. And Wolf, the GM over there, is doing a great job. And I think they're moving in the right direction. And I think we're going to be impressed with this team. I just don't think they're going to make huge strides, especially in the AFC. Like, I think their wins literally come from the Jets, the Dolphins, that kind of shit. I think they're going to get beat up twice by the Bills. I think if they, I don't have their schedule in front of me, but if you have to see Denver, Kansas City, any of these guys, you're going to get beat up. And I think it's just going to be one of those things where they probably beat the teams they're supposed to and lose to the teams they're supposed to this year.
Yeah, where I do worry about the Patriots is if Drake May made a lot of throws that were terrible decisions last year. And I'm chalking a lot of that up to possibly one of the worst offensive lines in the league, which they have already started to revamp. If he is just that guy and he makes those bad decisions and they get picked this time, like they weren't really getting picked off as much last year. If they get picked off this year, then that's a big regression there. That's my one worry of regression, but I do think they're going to get better. So I've gone for over on the 8.5 there. Jay, the Chargers are at 9.5. I had them at over before the Chiefs game. The way that they play football is just winning football.
Who doesn't have the Chargers on the over, though, for real?
I was very surprised at the 9.5. I'm also we'll talk about it when we get to the game, but I'm very surprised about how surprised everybody was that the Chargers beat the Chiefs. They play a brand of football that wins football games.
I almost took them. I'm not bullshitting y'all. Like, I almost took the Chargers. I had to go back and forth. And the only thing that made me take the Chiefs in the loss was they're the fucking Chiefs. And I was like, okay, you're the Chiefs, and I'm just going to take you, because that was my deciding factor, though, because I think that's the battle of this division. But the Chiefs are the Chiefs, so I took them. But it didn't work out. But I wouldn't be surprised if people took the Chargers. It's shocking to me that people were shocked. And I'm with you. I was on the internet going, how are people shocked that the Chargers won?
Yeah, I was very shocked that people were shocked. Like I also picked the Chiefs, but I was shocked that people were so shocked. Jay, so we both went on the over on that one. The Steelers are at 8.5. We've both gone for the over on that. Similar rationale, right? Like they play winning football. They've got much better at pretty much every position than they were last year. Like, I was surprised at the 8.5 here as well. Yeah,
and just quick, the only thing we've been saying for years is that for the last few years is, wow, if the Steelers had an offense, right? I think they got a better offense. So that was it for me.
Yeah, the Steelers had a quarterback, right? And they've got Aaron Rodgers, which, look, may take some time and all of that kind of stuff, but let's see where we go.
He's an upgrade, but
with the Steelers there. He's an obvious upgrade, right? The Jags at 7.5, and we've both gone for the over on that one as well. The Jags in a rough division. They played good football last year. Trevor Lawrence at quarterback. This might be his have to make it year, right, with Trevor Lawrence. So we'll see where he gets to with that. But
went with
Travis Hunter
comes
your
in theory. There. Do they lose 10 games? No. So that's how I picked that one.
Yeah. It's like I don't see them losing 10 games there, especially with who's in their division. Jay, the Colts are at 7.5. I've gone for the over on this one. You've gone for the under. I think the Colts win more games with Daniel Jones in the team than they would do with Anthony Richardson. You've got them as a 4-win team. Their offensive line is solid. Their run game is solid. Their defense is solid.
Their offensive line is awful.
Their offensive line.
They lost Ryan Kelly. Like, how do you lose your whole interior of your offensive line and get better when they're really good players, right? Will Fries is one of the best right guards in the NFL. So you just got worse. And do we believe Jonathan Taylor is going to have a great year? Because I didn't see it last year, and I'm a Badger fan.
He was great last year.
He was good.
He was great last year in the second half of the year.
I don't think he was great. I thought he was good. And that's the thing. And they need great with Daniel Jones. You need great all around you. I like Pittman better than you do. I still don't think they have a receiver core that can bail out bad quarterback play, and they still have Danny Dimes. Also, I think he's a great offense coordinator, but this is the year Shane Steichen. You got to show me something.
I'm worried about what? Okay, just delete that spam. I'm not a massive fan of Danny Dimes, and I'm not a massive fan of the Colts wide receiver core. I just think they play a brand of football. I just think this year they're going to play a brand of football that'll win. I can't see them losing 10 games again with the brand of football that they play. But I'm not massively confident. I'm not bullish on that. Like, I'm closer to 7 than the 8, so I probably should have put.
Now he's using stock terms, you guys. He's not bullish. Fuck that.
I'm not bullish. I've been listening to too much Breast is Politics USA with Anthony Scaramucci. I'm not bullish. Jay, the Raiders are at 6.5. I was surprised by this one. We've both taken the over. I was surprised. I think their offense is much better than it was last year with Geno Smith there, with rookie Ashton Genty there as well. Brock Bowers takes another step forward into his second year. Like Max Crosby on the defensive line. Like, I was surprised by this one at 6.5.
Great coaches.
Good coaches. They have stars all over the pitch. Jay, Jets at 6.5 here. We've both hit the under on this one. So
wait. Justin Fields doesn't take them to the Super Bowl?
All right, I never said that. I just think they'll be feisty. That's different.
Maddie, I gotta be real. The haircut looks good, though. You should stop sweating it. It looks good, bro. You're good.
Thanks.
It's killing you. It's killing you. I can tell inside it's killing you.
It just sat on my head like a mushroom. What the fuck?
I can tell Maddie just hates his hair, guys.
I'm also sweating like right here as well. So like I keep on having to push it out of like bits of sweat as well.
I just was here feeling bad for you. I'm like, he really hates his haircut. It don't look bad.
Just gonna have to change the screen and just come off so I can't see myself. But I think that the Jets will be feisty. I don't think it converts itself into a lot of wins. I think it's a lot of like low scoring games that they don't come out on top of. They only have one wide receiver weapon. It's a good wide receiver weapon at Garrett Wilson, but you can take that away from Justin Fields quite easy because he doesn't trust his eyes enough to throw things like quick slants that get the ball into your hands of your playmakers. He has to wait for the play to actually develop before he gives it, and he just can't do that. Like, he can't do that. Breece Hall has taken a step back since the injury. Brandon Allen, I don't think he'll see a lot of game time. So I think their defense will be fine. I just don't think they score enough points to get above 6 wins. this year. Jay, the Titans are at 5.5, and we've both hit the under on that one as well. The under on 5.5 for the Titans, who have the number one quarterback in the draft. They just haven't done anything to help Cam Ward, right?
No, and like they're depraved of talent, and I know people are going to name names, but they're just names now. Like, this isn't a shot, but Tony Pollard, I don't believe is the Tony Pollard of Dallas. Will he still be good? Sure. But he had times in Dallas where he took fucking games over with less runs than a lot of running backs. Like, really? I mean, he'd have 20 runs and take a game over.
It was a different role. It was a different role. Like, he's not a number one running back. He's a like really amazing 1A, right? Where he's the complement to your.
Well, it's almost like he can be your he is your number one running back, but he can't carry the whole load, right? Like, he can't be the 30-40 bell cow. That's what Calvin Ridley, did you do something? Or are you just a name? Because since his suspension, we're like, what have you done, right? That's the thing. I don't know if they have the talent to help this young kid develop, and that's where I see them having one of them awful years. But that doesn't mean anything about Cam Ward, because remember, Peyton Manning won one fucking game in his first year. You know what I mean? So, like,
and it can be a building year. They can put like a lot towards it. Like still winning like 3-4 games. Like, you can still have a lot going towards that, right? Like, you have a lot, like, you move, like, you can still move forward whilst losing games, right? Like, there's stuff that you can put in, and like, they'll be better next year. I think I have confidence in the Titans to be better. The Dolphins, Jay, at 7.5. We both hit the under on this one. Both just no confidence in the Dolphins. They didn't get better on their weaknesses from last year. That's the biggest problem I have. And if anything, they got worse.
No, I don't disagree with any of that. Like, I just think it's an uphill battle.
Yeah, and look, with the Dolphins, their biggest weakness, they can't play hard football. And if anything, the league is going back to that. Like, the league is going back to two running backs, two running backs in every team that can carry the ball strong, 2 tight end sets, lot more run game, like a lot more run dominant stuff. And the Dolphins, just in those hard-nosed football games, have always come up short. And they've always come up short to a point where it's a systemic problem with the Miami Dolphins. So 7.5 games seems like a lot to me. To be honest, I could see the Jets getting 2 of their wins from the Dolphins because of the styles of football that they play, right? Like, the style of football that the Jets play, the style of football that the Dolphins are terrible at. Like, I can see the Jets getting 2 of their wins from that.
Maddie, live underdog. Give me your lock of the week. I'm putting it in. Give me one game. You don't even have to have a point spread. Who wins, no matter what?
I got to do no 3. Matter what?
No point spread. So you don't have to worry about a point spread.
Who wins no matter what? I feel like the Bengals are a pretty solid. The Vikings.
I will never take the Bengals in the first 2 weeks. Sorry.
Who wins no matter what? Oh, the Bucks against the Falcons, but that's
I took that one already.
Broncos Titans. And you've taken Broncos Titans as well.
Nope. So I'm going to tell everybody after I do that one, so we can keep going, and then I'll let everybody know in a little bit what my pick 3 live on the show is.
And our last one for the over-unders is the Browns at 5.5. I've gone for the under. You've gone for the over on the Browns. Jay, what gives you the confidence in the Browns to get 6 wins?
Because I think the Browns are going to have like 8 or 9 wins. I think they have more talent than people think. They think because Nick Chubb's gone that their running game's fallen off, but it hasn't. Because he wasn't there last year. And I think Flacco gets you 7-8 wins. Like, I don't think that you sit there and, again, take it the other way. Do we think that they lose 12 games? Like, that's kind of the question, right? I think the Browns are better. But this is the thing. You and I always look at the Browns differently every year. There's a couple teams that you and I always look at differently. And I don't think they're like going to the playoffs, but I think they're better than what people give them credit for. Plus, we got to forget that Kevin Stefanski is 2 years removed from being coach of the year.
Yeah, I agree with that. I question the talent on the Browns, to be honest, and I just question the organization as a whole for like the chaos that'll be coming at quarterback. Joe Flacco can realistically get them to 6 wins, but they'll be baying for his blood and want to see, let's be real, they want to see Shedeur Sanders. Like the Browns fan base, they want to see Shedeur Sanders, and he's their 3rd QB, so they have to go through Dylan Gabriel to get to him first. So, like, do I trust the Browns organization to stay steadfast with Joe Flacco long enough to get past 5.5 wins? No, I don't. And I think once they move to the rookie, I think Shedeur can win games in the NFL. Dylan Gabriel's a good enough quarterback to win games in the NFL, but with the pressure that they've been put under, we'll see where that gets to. And I do like the Browns running backs as fantasy low buys, though. Like any Browns running back can come out on top. In Kenyon Judkins has just signed his deal, for example. I wonder if he's a free agent in our fantasy. I'll check after the pod whether he's a free agent in our fantasy. Okay, Jay, that was our AFC over-unders. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Feel free to bet on any of those if you like any of those particular picks. Jay, moving on to reviewing the games from Thursday night and Friday night, just a quick review of the Eagles-Cowboys game. And Jay, I think we have to start out on before a snap was taken, right? We have to start with Dak Prescott and Jalen Carter. Should they both be getting suspended?
No, I think Dak should get fined along with Jalen Carter. They won't do it.
Yeah.
But he took a game suspension, and it's the NFL. They don't make money by getting rid of the best players on people's teams.
Yeah, and suspending a QB, suspending a QB is a huge thing to do. I don't think they'll suspend Dak. And I think for people wondering who only saw the game and haven't seen what's kind of gone on after, the big debate right now is, did Dak Prescott spit at Jalen Carter first? And Dak Prescott spat on the ground toward Jalen Carter in a sign of disrespect, right? In a sign of disrespect, whereas Jalen Carter went to spit on Dak Prescott. So that's why it is slightly different. And it's always, in the NFL, it always seems to be the guy who makes the reaction that gets the biggest punishment, right? But I think they should both have the same fine post-game, pre-game. It would have been a bit mad for Dak to get ejected on what he did than what Jalen Carter did. I just hate spitting. I just think it's just a gross thing to do. Like Jalen Carter, I'm not being funny. Jalen Carter could have done anything he wanted on the pitch, probably. Like Jalen Carter could have just sat on Dak Prescott as well. Like there's no need for him to do any of that. Like just go and show it on the pitch. I don't get it. I don't get spitting. It's so weird and just so gross. Such childish bullshit. But okay, that's out the way. And obviously it did have a huge impact on the game. Like the Cowboys' interior offensive line actually looked very good, like in this game. And we did talk about them before the game, saying Cooper Beebe could make another step up here. Brooker can, the rookie coming in, he was a run grader at Alabama, so he could look good at guard. He was the highest ranked guard. It's just a lot of tackles moving to guard as well. And then you have Tyler Smith, who could be one of the best guards in one of the best left guards in the NFL. So that interior offensive line looks good, but it also didn't have to go up against Jalen Carter because of what happened before. So that is an interesting point to talk about in terms of like the whole spitting and ejections and all of that, but it actually had a huge impact on this game, Jay.
Yeah, no, I agree. It did open up. It did. I hate it because I want to know if the Cowboys run game got better, and I really don't know because of that. And he is a huge disruption. Yeah, he is a huge disruption, but the game kind of played out the way I called it, except I said that the Eagles would get a touchdown. So I'm glad I changed my pick right before we went, but it did play out kind of the way I saw it in my head. I thought the Cowboys were going to keep it close. I do think Jalen Carter being gone helped them keep it close, but We'll see. We'll see, because I was kind of impressed with what I saw by the Cowboys. I mean, I would say the only disappointment I had in the Cowboys was CeeDee Lamb, and that's not going to continue. That was just a fluke game. Like, the guy can play football. He just made 2 bad fucking drops. It sounds like somebody's in a fantasy draft, and I know they're not.
Yeah. Sorry, are you hearing that beep 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 as well? I don't know what that is.
Yeah,
but anyway,
but it's you getting caught off guard. I think that gets me more. And then after we make our picks on this one, I'll let everybody know my live bet. Yeah,
definitely. And I think with the Cowboys and the Eagles, the Cowboys looked much better. Like, their run game looked much better. I don't know why people were surprised at the Cowboys looking decent. Like, they are, to be fair to the Dallas Cowboys, they are like one season removed from going 3 seasons with 12 wins, like 3 12-win seasons back to back to back. And last season they got 6 wins with Dak Prescott injured for most of the season. What I thought was the most impressive, the run game looked great, but also Dak looked more mobile. Dak looked more mobile in the pocket as well, which is obviously very different than what we've seen recently. The other thing that didn't surprise me is the way that the Eagles won, because this is the way the Eagles win in the regular season. They don't blow teams out. That's not what they do. So don't know why everyone's surprised. Jay, Chargers, Chiefs, we've already kind of spoken about it, but the big surprise from here for me is, Jay, the Chargers are dark horse for the Super Bowl appearance.
Yeah, I like them. I think they're going to be in the mix at the end of the year. I just think they're a year or 2 away because of talent, but I know I've said this a lot, and when do we stop letting Justin Herbert off the hook, right? When do we start holding him accountable for not getting them there? But again, it doesn't take away that he's got all the talent in the world, right? He's just been in a dysfunctional organization that I think finally has got an adult in the room and that kind of thing. So I think they're in the right direction. Again, though, it's like, are you a year or 2 away? Because I still think they need a number 1 receiver. I think there's, a few things they could do on the defense. So I think they're going to be a team that causes a lot of people problems, though. I think when they get into the playoffs and hit other teams that are really good is when they're going to falter. So I think the regular season will be fine.
Yeah, and I also think with the way it was the way that they actually came out and did the game plan that made me feel really confident in Justin Herbert going into this year. So they actually passed the ball a lot. Like, they passed, it was over 30 pass attempts. And I think that's what really surprised. I think it was 34, 35 pass attempts. And I think that really surprised the Kansas City Chiefs. I think that really surprised them. I thought they basically had their entire game plan set up to stop the run. And they got kind of taken out by the pass. And the big plays and the play to end the game was Justin Herbert running for the first down. And I think that was a big deal for them as well. And I think it was a big deal for Justin Herbert going in to this season as well. Jay, should the Chiefs be worried about a rusty start?
No. We watched them play last year where everybody's like, oh, they're going to even make the play. We're like, stop. Like,
Yeah, I'm not worried about them making a rusty start at all. I feel like that's like it is the way that they play, and look, as you said, they were a full start away from winning. So maybe we should chill out a little bit with the Chiefs. They were one full start away from being able to drive down the field. And look, they got even before that, they took the field goal. Like, it was Travis Kelce not continuing. They were a touchdown away the play before with Travis Kelce not continuing his run. He stops the run, so Mahomes misses him. That's a walk-in touchdown as well from like the 2-yard line. So I'm sure they'll sort that out going into the season. The Chiefs weren't as far off as everybody seems to make it. Okay, let's get into some. Oh, Jay, you have your live bets to go for, or do you want?
No, I'll do this one. I got to wait till later to do the one with the teams because I'm in a promo right now that doesn't let you pick the teams. But my first one is Alvin Kamara, 26.5 receiving yards. I took the over because they don't have anybody else to throw to. Jaden Daniels, 226.5 yards. I took the over. And Lamar Jackson, he's only got to get 1 yard passing for me to win on that one because that was part of the promo.
Oh, okay. Oh, right, okay. That's a nice promo deal. Nice.
Yeah.
That's a good 3. Okay. Jay, going into where we pick every single game every Sunday. So come and watch us every single Sunday. We pick every game and we pick it against the spread. We don't pussy out and just pick the games. We pick with the spread. So Jay, we're going to start off with the Colts versus the Dolphins. The Colts are -1.5 point favorites. Jay, are the Colts more likely to win with Daniel Jones? Who have you got in this game?
I'm taking the Dolphins. Give me the Dolphins -1.5. I think the Dolphins win by more than that, and I think the Colts show why they're going to struggle all year. And I don't think the Dolphins are going to have a great year, but I think the Dolphins are going to have a great game because everybody's been talking a lot of shit this offseason.
And if you do have an offensive genius, which we're not 100% sure Daniels is, but we'll see. If you are an offensive genius, then this is the game, like, right, where you've had the entire offseason. This is the game where all of your tricks come out to play. However, I'm picking the Colts in this one. I feel like the Dolphins style of football, like those hard-nosed games, they just don't do well. And I feel that's all the Colts are going to try and play this year. So I've got the Colts in this one at -1.5. Jay has the Dolphins at +1.5. Jay, the Steelers are going up against the Jets. The Steelers are it's not -3, is it? They're under 3.
Yeah.
Is that what you say?
Yeah,
they're under 3.
Steelers.
Up against the Jets. The Jets are +3. Jay, will the Steelers hit the ground running with their new look offense with Aaron Rodgers, DK Metcalf joining up for the first time? Are they going to hit the ground running? I suppose that's the same on the Jets with Fields and Garrett Wilson as well. No, like, I mean, in terms of hitting the ground running.
It's
Jay,
not.
And also, which team has the better defense here as well, I think, is a good question. I kind of flip-flopped on this one. So who you got?
It's easy for me. The Steelers, they got the better defense. They upgraded their secondary. They got monsters on the line. Aaron Rodgers, DK Metcalf. They got better at the running back position. I don't know. I don't even know how this is. Maybe I am just either really overthinking the Steelers or underselling the Jets, but I think this line is insane. And I don't even think it's a close game. I think the Jets are going to get the shit smacked out of them all year.
I've also gone for the Steelers in this one. I do feel like their coach is. I do feel like the coaching in the Jets has got significantly better. I don't think their coaching is going to let them get the shit slapped out of them. I do think their defense is very solid as well. Like, their defense is very good. And I wonder if Aaron Rodgers, DK Metcalf, there's a few teething problems and those kind of things. But I eventually just don't think the Jets will be able to move the ball enough against the Steelers defense.
Do you think Rodgers knowing the weaknesses of those players on that defense too is going to help?
Yeah. I do think that does help them and gets them over the line. However, the Jets also know Rodgers' weaknesses as well. He didn't play that much. He did, like,
there's some bad.
There's some actually play that much for the Jets. Jay, the Jags are -3.5 point favorites versus the Carolina Panthers. 2 very young offenses is what I would like to show here. Who have you got?
This one was a little bit back and forth for me because I think the Panthers are going to be better, but I do think Hunter Renfrow instead of Adam Thielen is a downgrade, so there's that. But I got some faith in where the Jags are headed, and I think they're going to be excited about Liam Cohen for the first at least few games, and we saw what he did with Baker Mayfield and different people, so I'm definitely going to go. I'm definitely going to go with the Jags on this one. Matty blocked himself because there was somebody behind him doing some shit. That shit made me laugh. I was like, I almost said some wild shit like, we have a real Chinese person behind us, but behind you.
Sorry, they're closing up the they're closing up the reception, so we might have to just buzz through these.
Okay, well, let's buzz through them. All right.
But yeah, I think they're very 2 good young offenses. The Jags are -3.5. Who have you picked there, Jake?
The Jags.
The Jags. I've I've gone for the Panthers in that one. I think they're. I think the Jags might still win, but just give me the points when it's that close, right? At 3.5. Jay, the Saints and the Cardinals are going up against each other. The Cardinals are 6.5 point favorites. Saints, one of the worst teams in the NFL. Surely it's got to be the Cardinals at 6.5.
Yep, lock me in. Cardinals 6.5. Kyler Murray and that team. I think Kyler Murray steps up. I think the team gets better. Cardinals 6.5.
It's just they just look far more consistent. They just across the whole entire board, they look like they're going to be a far more consistent team this year, and that's what's been killing the Cardinals. It's not been lack of talent. It's lack of consistency. Jay, the Commanders are 6-point favorites against the New York Giants. This I flip-flopped on because of that point spread, and it's a divisional game, and I think the Giants their defensive line is better than people are giving it credit for, and I think that you don't know with Jackson Dart and Russell Wilson and Malik Neighbors, like you don't know what that'll look like at 6 points, but I have gone for the Commanders in the end.
Yeah, give me the 6 points because the Giants are going to suck balls.
All right. I'm not as low on the Giants as you.
Yeah, but I beat up the Giants last show. I beat up the Giants last show. I don't really need to beat them up 2 weeks in a row because if you watched last week, you already know. If not, go listen to how bad I beat them up.
Jay, the Commanders are 1.5 point favorites against the Falcons. For me, this is one of the craziest spreads of the week. I don't understand where the Falcons have got better, and I don't understand where the Buccaneers have got worse.
Yeah, I agree. And we talked about this till we were blue in the face last week, too. I don't get it. I don't get this love for the Falcons. Give me the Bucs, -1.5. I feel like that's probably the game we'll lose because I feel like that's a fucking gimme.
The love for the Falcons and the hate for the Buccaneers, I don't get that one at all. Jay, the Bengals are at -5.5 against the Browns. I was pretty close on this point spread just because of the defense of the Bengals and just a general worry within the first 2 weeks. But I've gone for the Bengals. Who have you got?
I'm gritting my teeth and I'm taking the Bengals, even though I don't trust them in the first 2 weeks. But again, they should be the better team, right? And just because of what's going on in Cleveland, I think they're going to be better than people think. But I can't take them right off the bat. I need to see some more. So give me the Bengals.
Yeah, right. And that defense, though, for 5.5 points, that defense worries me. But that offense is just so supercharged that can Myles Garrett get to Joe Burrow enough? That's the question, right? That has to be the question. It's can Myles Garrett get to Joe Burrow enough? And I guess we'll see. Okay. This one I thought was so interesting, and it's genuinely a game that I kind of want to watch, even though it could be terrible. Raiders Patriots 2.5 point favorites here. Loads of really interesting things across the pitch. My favorite is Max Crosby going against rookie left tackle Will Campbell. Will Campbell is questionable going into this game, so hopefully he will end up playing because that'll be an interesting matchup to see. Jay, Patriots 2.5 point favorites. Who you got?
Give me the Raiders. If I was betting, I might even consider the money line on this one, but give me the Raiders -2.5. I think just the experience alone across the Raiders players helps. I love both coaching staffs. But I think the Raiders are excited. I think that after all this years of having bad teams, I think that team's legitimately excited for this season because of Pete Carroll, and I think that means something, especially in the first game.
Yeah. I'm excited about the Raiders.
I can be rough on Geno, but Geno's a solid quarterback. And right now, Drake May's going to be better than Geno ever was, but Geno's probably better than Drake May right now.
And it's also at the point where if Max Crosby is chasing down Drake May, how good can Drake May be?
That's scary,
because
isn't
as
it?
Excited as much as I like Will Campbell as a prospect, your first assignment in the NFL is Max Crosby while you're questionable with an injury. That's your first assignment in the NFL. So let's see. That's going to be a tough time for him. Jay, the 49ers are -1.5, under 1.5 point favorites, with the Seattle Seahawks. Jay, who have you got in this one? Can Sam Darnold hit the ground running in Seattle?
So I think the 49ers are better than the Seahawks by the end of the season, but I think you get first week magic out of Seahawks to get all the Seahawks fans ramped up for their 8-win season.
I think with the injuries that I think with the injuries that the 49ers have got, especially with the fact that Christian McCaffrey is now listed as questionable as well. God, I feel like I'm really whispering here. But they feel like that. Okay, good. But they're Christian McCaffrey listed as questionable as well with the other offensive injuries. Also, the Seahawks offensive line looks sneaky good with a lot of young players. Greg Zabel has apparently been amazing in preseason, which, like, I know he's a guard, so how much difference do you make at guard? But let's see. He's apparently been amazing. So give me the Seahawks as well at 1.5, plus 1.5 on the Seahawks. Jay, the Broncos are going up against the Titans. This is the biggest spread. Well, it's the joint spread with the Eagles and the Cowboys, which shows you how much disrespect was being put on the Cowboys after the Parsons trade. But Jay, the Broncos are going up against the Titans. The Broncos are 8.5-point favorites in this game. Jay, the Broncos are the most hyped team in the NFL.
Okay, you like the Broncos more than I do. I still like the Broncos. I think they're going to be a good team.
Everyone loves the Broncos.
I don't love them. I like them, and that's it. I do get annoyed by some of the love coming because I think they're going to be good, not great, but it doesn't matter. I still think they beat up on the Titans because I feel like the Titans are going to be fighting for the first pick overall next year too. So oddly, and I hate to say it, give me the Broncos minus the 8.5.
Yeah, and I think the love for the Broncos is coming because they're kind of like dark horse, right? Like everybody goes for the dark horse. People then trick themselves into thinking that the dark horse is actually not a dark horse anymore. They're actually the best team. And that's not what's happened here. However, the Broncos at minus 8.5 up against.
It doesn't help the Broncos that they're in the Chargers and fucking Chiefs division.
Yeah. Yeah. And the Raiders will be better this year.
Yeah.
As well. So yeah, but give me the Broncos at 8.5 points as well. I don't love the 8.5, but I'll take the 8.5. Jay, Micah Parsons' first outing for the Green Bay Packers is up against division rivals, the Detroit Lions. The Packers are 1.5-point favorites, which I imagine has swung since Parsons got there. Jay, who have you got in this one?
Well, on a neutral field, they'd be 1.5-point dogs because they're in Green Bay. Yeah, so Vegas still likes the Lions better. So do I. Give me the Lions minus 1.5. Think it's a close game for a lot of the game. Think the Lions win by, 5 to 7 points by the time the game's over. So, and at least a field goal. So give me the Lions. I think both teams will be good. I think we might see some fall off this year with the Detroit Lions because of the coordinators, but what we all know for a fact is Dan Campbell can get this team hyped. So for week 1, these guys will be ready.
Yeah, and I feel like the spreads aren't going to be mad for the Lions, but to start with, until we know more about the coordinators, right? Until we know more about the coordinators, I don't think the spreads are going to be wild. So I think if you like the Lions, then I think now's the time to make your money on the Lions. I don't think the spread's going to be crazy. I've got the Lions in this one as well. If Micah Parsons is the person who made the difference in that spread, Parsons hasn't had a good game against the Lions. Like,
I was wondering if you were going to.
Parsons really struggles against.
I wondered if you were going to pick with Micah. I didn't know. Like, it was Micah going to influence your pick, so it was kind of interesting to hear what you were going to say.
It's the type of team that he struggles against because they scheme at him. Like, you would think with most DNs, you scheme away from them. With Micah, you scheme at him and, like, drag him out of position by scheming at him, which is weird. So the Lions have been really good at that every time we've played against them. Jay, the Rams are 3 under against the Texans. I think this is a really bad matchup for the Texans just because of how good the Rams D-line is. Is Jared Verse going to make another step forward this year? Is Brandon Fisk going to make another step forward this year? And Devontae Adams is a huge upgrade for the Rams at wide receiver with Matthew Stafford playing as well. I'm taking the Rams at -3 here. Who have you got, Jay?
I agree with you. Rams -3. Jared Verse is going to wreck the NFL this year. People are going to be like, what the hell? He was good last year, but I think taking another step. I actually think we're going to finally see a lot of these guys from 2 seasons ago light the league on fire with defensively, because that defense that draft was stacked defensively.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
But yeah, give me the Rams -3.5.
Jay, in the biggest game of the week, possibly in terms of AFC Championship implications, the Bills are going up against the Ravens. The Ravens are 1.5-point favorites on the road. The regular season Ravens have a habit of absolutely annihilating teams that aren't called the Chiefs, that are in that AFC conversation. That's when they're in the regular season. Jay, who have you got in this one? Can the Bills' cornerback room hold up when their defense needs to fill the box? I'm a little worried about the Bills' wide receiver against the Ravens' cornerback room. I've got the Ravens at 1.5 here. Who have you got?
The Ravens, and because I watched Hard Knocks, it made me feel better. I was going back and forth. I like what the Bills are doing. I don't think they're a Super Bowl team this year, but I'm not going to say they can't do it. So I do think they're contenders who will come up short. That's what I think of them this year. I think the Ravens, this is their year, or they got to figure something else out. So give me the Ravens, because I don't think the Bills did a lot to upgrade. I do think they still have some decent receivers. I think they need to upgrade that. I think they leave Josh Allen at a disadvantage sometimes, which is hard for them. And I'm always skeptical about their defense. So give me the Ravens.
They have wide receivers that have played well for them. And
they're like the Packers. They got a fucking room full of number 2s. Yeah. They're like the Packers. They just got a handful of number 2s, really good number 2s, but they don't have a number 1, right? And that's kind of where I'm like, you guys do this exactly. A lot to these quarterbacks. Yeah, exactly. Jay, your Minnesota Vikings are wrapping up this week's NFL games. They're going up against division rivals, the Chicago Bears. The Vikings are only 1.5-point favorites in this game. Who have you got? Will JJ McCarthy hit the ground running? Will Brian Flores just completely confuse Caleb Williams, considering Caleb Williams might be potentially confused already by Ben Johnson's offense? And then this big report that just dropped, and it's a 3-part series that Caleb had to get his cadence switched back to a college one because he couldn't understand the NFL one last year, that he couldn't wrap his head around the plays, that he couldn't get the plays into the offense. They had to dumb everything down, and that this kid isn't putting in any of the film time, which we just found out a couple days ago too. Can Ben Johnson turn that around? Maybe, but Caleb Williams already put himself a year behind the way it sounds by not doing things the right way, which is wild to me as a first overall pick. Yeah, I just, if the Vikings don't win this game, I don't know what to think, because they actually should walk away with this game. And I think they're going to rely a lot on the running game this year. That's why you bring in Mason. You got a 2-headed monster with Aaron Jones. Like I said, I think Aaron Jones will be the starter. Mason will end up getting more carries overall. And J.J. McCarthy has played in some of the biggest games you could ever think of in high school and college. So I don't think the moment will be too big for him, but it is weird that he has to go back to his hometown for his first game. I hope that doesn't give him too much, anxiety. But I think he'll be fine. Kevin O'Connell will coach him through any nerves he has. And I think they're going to rely heavily on the run game and the defense this year. And it's going to look a little different than it did the last couple of years. And I'm excited. I'm excited to see Adam Thielen back. I think, in skilled positions, they're loaded across the board with a good offensive line. I mean, their defensive line was good, but they needed to shore up the middle, and they did that with Hargrave and Jonathan Allen. I think the sky's the limit for the defense, and I think their only weakness might be their corners, but they play 3 to 4 safeties at a time, and we're deep at safety, so we'll see how that goes. I said all that just to say give me the Vikings minus the 1.5.
Yeah, if I was the Vikings, I'd be offended at 1.5, to be perfectly honest.
I like that we're the underdog every year. I like that nobody thinks we can win. Yeah. I like that we're overlooked.
Yeah. Jay, to finish off, because I do really need to go there.
No, that's fair. Closing. I got you. You look uncomfortable as shit. I'm not going to lie. You look so uncomfortable.
Too fucking polite. But they don't have a closing time. Anyway, Jay, our 3 best bets for this week, for this Sunday. My best bets, I've gone for the Bucks at -1.5, the Bengals at 5.5. I don't love that. Yeah, I'll stick with it. And the Vikings at 1.5 as well.
All right. For me, it's the Rams -3.
That's what I would take.
Jets or Steelers -3. And Commanders -6 over the Giants, with an honorable mention being the Bucks Falcons, which I think I could have had 4 locks, but I just went with the offenses I know that I feel are going to like light it up to start the season.
Interesting that we basically agreed on pretty much every single game other than the Panthers Jags, and then all 3 of our best bets are completely different.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun week.
One. Yeah. Because you don't best bet the Vikings either.
No, I never. I don't even bet the Vikings. Like if I was in a casino, I wouldn't bet the Vikings because I feel like it's a jinx. I feel like you jinx yourself trying to bet your team.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching the show. I'm going to go. Jay, send us out like you always do.
All right. Like, subscribe, follow all the other shows. Thanks for watching. One World, One Love. Deuces.